These three revolutionary tech platforms didn't start out as the household names we know them as today. But aside from their huge success, each of these three innovative products have something very special in common. None of them were ventures that came from the result of original ideas that were meticulously planned and executed, but rather, they emerged from the most unexpected of beginnings. In this episode of the podcast, I'm unraveling the fascinating stories of three tech giants, each born from a stroke of serendipity. But here's the twist. None of these platforms began with their eventual purpose in mind. No, they stumbled upon their success through sheer happenstance. From a failed project that paved the way for a global communication powerhouse, to a side feature on a doomed platform that blossomed into a hub for creative expression. The first two stories will keep you on the edge of your seat. And just when you think you've heard it all, I'm going to uncover the jaw-dropping origins of a platform that started out with an entirely different mission altogether. Hint, it involved matchmaking, but not the kind you might expect. So settle in as we journey through the surprising twists and turns of tech history. Get ready to uncover the untold stories behind three of the most influential platforms of our time. It's time to dive into the world of happy accidents. Hey there, friends. This is Dennis Geelen, author of the Happy Accidents newsletter and the book, The Accidental Solopreneur. Welcome to another episode of the Happy Accidents podcast, where we dive into true stories of wildly successful people, products, or businesses, all of which can trace their success back to a chance encounter, a serendipitous event, or a fluke invention. In each episode, we unravel the tales of unexpected triumphs and the remarkable journeys that led to their incredible success. I'm on a mission to explore the fascinating world of happy accidents, and I'm thrilled to have you along for the ride. So, why should you tune in? Well, besides the entertainment value of these incredible stories, there's a hidden treasure trove of lessons we can learn from them. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a creative mind, or simply someone who enjoys a good narrative, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiring stories and valuable insights. Get ready for a roller coaster of surprises, a dash of luck, and a sprinkle of wisdom. This is the Happy Accidents podcast, where success meets serendipity. Let's jump into today's adventure. Our first story begins with a team passionately working on a multiplayer online game named Glitch. It was the year 2011. Stuart Butterfield, Eric Costello, Cal Henderson, and Sergei Murachev had their sights set on creating the next big thing in the booming online game industry. They worked tirelessly to build, market, and sell their game. But as fate would have it, Glitch failed to ignite the gaming world as anticipated, although it did grow a modest fan base of around 150,000 users. People enjoyed the game that had them scavenging for weird items and talking to strange characters, but the revenue just wasn't there to sustain the game any further. The team was at a crossroads, standing on the edge of a creative cliff, uncertain where to turn next. Four creators of Glitch were crushed, but also a bit curious. As they evaluated their situation, a remarkable discovery emerged. One thing that stood out about the game was how much the players enjoyed talking to each other. The chat tool embedded in the game was a super popular feature. But not just for the players, with the staff as well. The chat tool was also used heavily by the team themselves to collaborate while building and scaling the game. This tool streamlined conversations, file sharing, and discussions in a way that had not been foreseen. In a twist of fate, a pivot was brewing. In 2012, after deciding to shut down Glitch and armed with a new perspective, the team embarked on a transformational journey. They shifted gears, diverting their attention from gaming to perfecting the accidental gem of this communication tool. It was like realizing they'd stumbled upon a buried treasure within their own backyard. The team released a beta version of their newly reimagined tool, now named Slack. Ever heard of it? They released it to a select group of users, but were not prepared for the overwhelming response that awaited them. Users were not just using Slack for work. they were integrated into their personal lives as well. This unexpected embrace showcased the adaptability and universality of Slack's design. As Slack continued to evolve, the team's commitment to listening to user feedback set them apart. Every suggestion, every comment, every critique was considered as they refined the platform. It was as if Slack was growing hand in hand with its users, turning the accidental discovery into a refined masterpiece. By 2020, Slack would host 12 million daily users and 65 of the Fortune 100 companies. This is a reminder that sometimes the most brilliant inventions come from the most serendipitous accidents. What are some fun facts about Slack? Well, first off, within its first 8 months of launch, Slack gained over 500,000 daily active users. The name itself, Slack, is an acronym for Searchable Log of All Communications and Knowledge, SLACK. This highlights its core functionality as a searchable platform for communication and information storage. Slack's domain name, slack.com, was actually purchased from the owner of a defunct knife-making company that used to operate under the same name. And finally, Slack offers over 2,000 app integrations, allowing users to connect their favorite tools and services seamlessly. Our second of three stories starts in 2002 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where Stuart Butterfield and Katerina Fake, two tech-savvy partners, embarked on a venture called Ludicorp. Their ambition was to craft an interactive online world with their multiplayer game Never Ending. Sound familiar? Another multiplayer game being hatched up, an idea being born in the early 2000s when online gaming was massive. So, what happened? Well, Game Never Ending never garnered a devoted following. It failed to achieve financial success, similar to Glitch in the Slack story. As a result, Ludicorp was on the brink of running out of funds to sustain the game's development, casting a cloud of uncertainty over their creative journey. Butterfield and Fake at first scratched their heads as to why the game hadn't taken off. What was going on? What did we do wrong? We thought we followed all the steps we were supposed to follow. We thought we did everything you're supposed to do to launch a new tech platform, a new game. Why wasn't this working? But eventually, something incredible rose out of the ashes. Similar again to the Slack story, they recognized the limitations of their gaming venture. Butterfield and Fake found inspiration within the platform itself. Again, just like Slack. Users had gravitated toward the photo sharing aspect of Game Never Ending. That functionality within the game was an incredibly popular feature. So with Slack, it was the messaging feature. In Game Never Ending, it ended up being the photo sharing feature. So although the game might not have taken off as they'd hoped, a happy accident was brewing. It was an aha moment as they decided to take this unexpectedly popular part of the game and transition it into creating a standalone photo sharing service. Now, they just needed to capitalize on this unintended invention. So in February 2004, Ludicorp introduced Flickr, initially as a side product. The name Flickr was a fusion of Flickr, Flicker, and folk, symbolizing the rapid exchange of photos between a vibrant online community. Flickr broke new ground by introducing pioneering features. Tags allowed users to add keywords for easy organization and discovery. They offered various photo licensing options and a pro account with unlimited storage for a fee, setting new standards in the industry. Flickr's user-friendly interface and innovative features captured the hearts of photography enthusiasts worldwide. In 2005, a mere year after its launch, Yahoo acquired Ludicorp, propelling Flickr to even greater heights. Flickr etched its mark as a hub for photographers, professional and amateur alike. It inadvertently redefined online photo sharing, making it a communal experience. It stands as a testament to the unforeseen, unpredictable nature of innovation. In the world of creativity and innovation, as Flickr's founders learned, sometimes the best moments happen when you least expect them. So, keep your eyes open. Embrace the unexpected. Who knows what happy accident might be waiting around the corner for you? Let's look at some fun facts from the Flickr story. Got a few lined up for you here. First off, in March of 2005, just a year after its launch, Flickr was acquired by Yahoo, as I mentioned. For how much? An estimated $25 million. This acquisition brought Flickr even more prominence than it had already. By 2005, Flickr had already amassed millions of registered users, and it continued to grow significantly in the years following its launch. Flickr's partnership with cultural institutions like libraries and museums, Flickr Commons, aimed to make historically significant photos available to the public. It's a valuable resource for historians and researchers. Many photographers and organizations use Flickr as an online archive to showcase their work and collections. This makes it a valuable resource for photographers and researchers alike. All right, our third and final story of the podcast also comes to us from the early 2000s. Obviously, a time when the tech industry, when the online world was just really starting to explode. All these things that you could do offline, suddenly you could start to do online, and all these ideas were just flying, and some founders really striking it rich. So, what is story number 3? Well, back in January of 2005, over dinner conversations and shared aspirations, 3 former PayPal alumni, Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, and Kawad Karim, conceived an idea that would forever alter how online media is consumed. Apparently, Jawad Karim took several videos during this dinner party and wanted to share the videos with the rest of the group, something we just naturally do today and take for granted. The problem back then, at the time, there was no easy way to do this. So, being natural tech guys, they got to work. Kareem struggled to share the event videos sparked the 3 friends to develop a new platform. No, not YouTube, at least not yet. What they originally envisioned was a niche video dating service called TuneIn Hookup. Yes, you heard that correct. TuneIn Hookup, a place where people could create and share videos introducing themselves with the intent of finding a match. First of all, that is a terrible name, right? Am I right? Secondly, you know that's not where the story ends, or it wouldn't be on the Happy Accidents podcast. So, what happened next? Well, as TuneIn Hookup struggled to find its footing, probably due to the terrible name, the founders astutely noticed a shift in user behavior. Do you see a trend here? 3 different groups of founders start a tech platform. It fails, but they notice something in the user behavior that sparks a new idea. So what was it in this case? Well, yes, some people were using this platform to share video dating profiles, but mostly users were utilizing the platform to share a wider array of content. Sensing the winds of change, Chen, Hurley, and Karim recalibrated their vision, pivoting to what we know today as YouTube, a universal video sharing platform, and with it, ushering a digital revolution. Driven by user behavior, market dynamics, and a new unwavering strategic vision, YouTube embarked on its own transformative journey. It swiftly evolved into a democratized space where users could share, discover, and connect over a myriad of video content, reshaping how the world consumes media. So many serendipitous events had to come together in order for this happy accident story to unfold the way it did. What if they didn't take video footage during that dinner party way back then? Or what if they weren't frustrated by the lack of ways to share the videos easily? What if they saw moderate success with the dating platform and never saw the need to pivot? What if they were not as astute in observing how the users were actually using the platform rather than how it was intended, or maybe too stubborn to care? Would YouTube exist today, or at least as we know it? Lucky for us, we don't have to speculate. We know how this happy accident unfolded. Okay, let's look at some key lessons here from each of these stories. Each story very similar. You start off with one idea in mind. In two of the stories, it's an online game. In another story, it's an online dating app where you can share video profiles. In all three, they discover that's not how people are using it, or at least features of it are more popular than the actual product itself in two of the cases. So what can we take away from this? Each of these, the people unintendedly created massively successful products, but not from the idea that they originally had. So lesson number one, adaptability is key. Sometimes success isn't where you initially set out to find it. You have to be open to pivoting and adapting your ideas when the opportunity arises. Lesson number two should be obvious by now. Listen to your users. In the case of Flickr, Butterfield and Fake noticed what users loved about their failed game and capitalized on that aspect. Same thing in Slack. The game itself wasn't taking off, glitch, but people loved chatting with each other. Your audience can guide your journey. Another lesson, embrace pivots. Just as the Glitch team transitioned from gaming to communication, and as the Slack team transitioned from gaming to chatting, sometimes the greatest opportunities come from unexpected shifts. Another lesson, feedback is gold. Slack's success story emphasizes the importance of actively seeking and valuing user feedback. It can turn a good idea into a phenomenal one. And the final lesson here, seize opportunities. The founders of YouTube had the vision to capitalize on the emerging trend of online video sharing and saw the potential for their platform to become a leader in the space. They were not afraid to take risks, make some bold decisions, and position YouTube for success, demonstrating the importance of seizing opportunities when they arise. You can see all of these lessons, each of these trends in all three of these stories. Three amazing happy accidents, all born from serendipity. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Happy Accidents podcast. I hope you find these stories as intriguing and insightful as I do, but make sure you don't miss an episode. You can subscribe to my Accidental Solopreneur channel on YouTube and watch these episodes in video form, or subscribe to the Happy Accidents podcast on Apple and Spotify for your listening pleasure. Until next time, stay lucky, my friends.